Samadukha Sukha Kshami Satatam Santushta Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dudha Nishchaya Mayarpita Manar Buddhiryo Buddhi Ye Madbhakta Same Priya Advaishta Sarva Bhutanam Maitraha Karuna Evacha Nirmamo Nirahankaraha Samadukha Sukha Kshami Santushtaha Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dudha Nishchaya Mayarpita Mano Buddhir Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha Advesta, not envious. Sarva Bhutanam, for all living entities. Maitraha, friendly. Karunaha, kindly. Eva, certainly. Cha, also. Nirmamaha, with no sense of proprietorship. Nirhankaraha, without false ego. Sama, equally. Dukhaha, distress. Sukhaha, happiness. Kshami, forgiving. Santushta, satisfied. Satatam, satisfied. Yogi, engaged in devotion. Yatatma, yatatma, endeavoring. Dudha nishchaya, with determination. Mai, upon. Me, arpita, engaged. Manaha, manaha, mind. Buddhihi, intelligent. Ya, one who. Mat bhaktaha, my devotee. Same priyaha, he is dear to me. Not envious for all living entities. Friendly, kindly, certainly, also with no sense of proprietorship, without false ego, equally distress, happiness, forgiving, satisfied, engaged in devotion, endeavoring, with determination upon, engaged, mind, intelligent, one who, my devotee, he is dear to me. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who is not envious, but who is kind, friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, who is free from false ego and equal both in happiness and distress, who is always satisfied and engaged in devotional service with determination, and whose mind and intelligence are in agreement with me. He is very dear to me. Purport. Coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendental qualification of pure devotee in these two verses. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor he is envious of anyone, nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. He thinks that one is acting as his enemy due to his own past misdeeds. Thus, it is better to suffer than to protest. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Tatte nukapam sa samiksham mano. Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him. He thinks, thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far greater than I am suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I am not getting all the punishment I am due. I'm just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he's always calm, quiet, and patient. Despite many distressful conditions, a devotee is also always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Nirmamam means that devotee does not attach such importance to the peace and trouble pertaining to the body because he knows perfectly well that he is not the material body. He does not identify with the body. Therefore, he is freed from the conception of false ego and equiposed both in happiness and distress. He is tolerant and he is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Supreme Lord. He does not endure much to achieve something with great difficulty. Therefore, he is always joyful. He is completely perfect mystic because he is fixed in the instructions received from the spiritual master. And because his senses are controlled, he is determined. He is not swayed by false argument because no one can lead him from the fixed determination of devotional service. He is fully conscious that Krishna is the eternal Lord, so no one can disturb him. All his qualifications enable him to depend entirely on the Supreme Lord. Such a standard of devotional service is undoubtedly very rare. But a devotee comes situated in the stage by following the regulative principles of the devotional service. Furthermore, the Lord says that such a devotee is very dear to him, for the Lord is always pleased with all his activities in full Krishna consciousness. Now, my realization from this verse is in purport, Srila Prabhupada says that whenever any devotee, and who is a devotee, he is in distress or is in difficulties, he thinks that this is the Lord's mercy upon him. Even pure devotee, he never get disturbed in any circumstances. Anybody's, even his enemy or enemy's enemy, he never get disturbed. So, and here in translation, Lord says that those who got the qualities of these, those devotees, they are very dear to me. So when actually I was reading this purport couple of times, I was actually thinking about the Srila Prabhupada, who has really, I mean, because of Srila Prabhupada, we are here, we are talking about Bhagavad Gita, we are discussing, and these all the qualities, what is mentioned over here, these all qualities Srila Prabhupada has got. He was, when he was, he had no one, actually, he had no enemy at all. When he went to the uh, Europe and Western countries, he didn't criticize to anyone, rather he went there to help people, even for the people who addicted to drugs and bad habits. But he showed them how to love to Krishna and give them a Krishna. He had no, I mean, when he internationally, when the actually Krishna consciousness started, he never took credit. He always said that this is Krishna's mercy. And he always, everything actually he has used for Krishna. He never, nothing he has used for himself. Whenever, I mean, he actually always, he never been like, he's how he is equal happiness and distress. He, when he went to Western countries, he initially he used to live in a small room. Even he traveled across the world. Sometimes people they criticized him, but Srila Prabhupada was remained peaceful, and his focus was only on Krishna consciousness. He had the qualities of forgiving and the tolerant. Many people disrespected him, but he never became angry. Actually, he forgive, but he continues his teaching, and he was always satisfied. Even with little money or support, he was happy because he had very strong faith in Krishna. Everyone, every word he spoke, every book he written, every temple he he opened, but that's all center he kept only Krishna. But because he had a full faith and love for Krishna, so these are the actually true qualities of the pure devotees who is non-envious, friendly, detached, humble, equal in happiness and distress, and self-satisfied. That that we have seen this all the qualities with Srila Prabhupada, and because of Srila Prabhupada, we we know Krishna, and he's a real soldier, real leader for everyone. That's why he's called as a Jagat Guru. Even uh, Maharaj and I, our Maharaj, always, I mean, most of the time he said that the mind likes to criticize, but bhakti means to clean the mirror of the heart. So one should always engage in Krishna consciousness and the bhakti. Maharaj never spoke harshly about anyone. Even when devotees made mistakes, he corrected them with fatherly love. Maharaj was always friendly and compassionate. He personally cared the devotees, their health, families, studies, and even their household needs. So also in one quote, Maharaj said that, how can you serve Krishna if you neglect your wife, children, or neighbors? So that is the big lesson for me. And he was always never actually, uh, despite being, Maharaj was a Sanskrit scholar and pure devotee, but he was remained simple. He often swept the temple floor and said that this type of service, we are not the kings, we are the servant of the Krishna. So this is also a big lesson for me. Even when Maharaj was ill, Maharaj remained calm and quiet, equal in pain and peace. He said that disease is for the body, not for the soul. So we should always chant Hare Krishna and smile always. So from this particular verse, I got, I mean, many points I learned from this, and takeaway points like learn, I meditate, and what most outstanding points. What I realized that do not criticize or do not compare to anyone, because everyone is Krishna's child. Be kind and forgiving, even when others hurts you. Don't hold grudges. Forgive quickly and move forward in Krishna consciousness. Also, I had to learn that do not chase unnecessarily things and be satisfied what Krishna has given, and always fix mind or remembering Krishna. Problem will come. Success and failure doesn't matter. What matter is I have to keep always Krishna close to me. Always think of Krishna. Also read scriptures, chant sincerely, and think of Krishna. Not only the puja time, but always. This is my realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Sandesh Service, Santanamaji, and His Grace Krishna Prabhu for training us and actually inspiring us to study verses and share with realization regularly in this forum. And thank you, Supan Prabhuji, for a very nice realization on these two verses. And actually, relating all these qualities of a pure Jew to the Srila Prabhupada and your personal actually realization as well. Adveshta sarvabhutana maitaha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha chami santushtaha satatam yogi yatma dhrida nishtayah may arpita mano buddhi yo madbhaktaha same priya. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaging in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fix on me. Such a devotee of mine who is very dear to me. So it's a very important verse. So as we actually started studying on this chapter 12, and actually Krishna is instructing Arjuna. So if we actually go back, that actually in order to perform a bhakti, actually Krishna, first of all, he actually instructed to actually completely fix one's mind and intelligence and body and senses totally upon Krishna and engage them in their service. So here, and he actually, after that, he did not do this, actually explained, he gave many other options. So now he's actually here, he's describing the qualities of a pure devotee or devotee who can able to fix his mind and intelligence on Krishna. So if one endeavor to actually achieve this goal of fixing his intelligence and mind on Krishna, then he must actually endeavor to actually acquire or inculcate these actually qualities. So in these two verses, about 9 qualities are described here. So the first one here say the Adveshta Sarva Bhutana Maitraha Karuna Evacha, that one has to actually become completely non-envious towards all living entities, which is actually for someone like me on a material platform is very, very hard, because even before actually we actually start actually learning the teaching of Bhagavad Gita and try to become a Krishna conscious. We are not even aware that actually we are always envious. And also I remember this actually instructions where in chapter 9, where Krishna says that actually this most confidential knowledge of Bhakti Yoga is revealing to him because he's actually not envious. So he highlighted that quality of Arjuna of being non-envious of Krishna. And that's why he was happy to actually reveal this knowledge to him. So this quality of being non-envious, part actually is talking about.
You're coming and going. Your voice is a little unstable.
Just for I try to move. I'm outside.
A little unstable. Just a last point, repeat again, please. Thank you.
Yes. So this actually quality of being non-invasive. So Krishna highlighted this quality in Arjuna, and as when I think about it, that actually how to get there of being non-invasive, that actually it feels very difficult because as everyone else, not everyone else, normally there are actually ordinary people, like actually even on the same platform, that we're very attached to the body. We identify with the body and anything in relationship with the body. And actually further, and that's why with this attachment, and again all the actually anartha, moha, maya, lobh, so on, it makes us very difficult to being a non-invasive. And also he says that here actually he has to become a friend to all the living entities. So treat everyone. So these are the qualities of actually Paramhamsa. That way actually I can actually recall what we studied in Nectar of Instruction. That actually the pure devotee sees everyone on the all the actually living entities, irrespective of what kind of body they are in. You still see them all on the same platform. And further, he says that actually one has to become free from false ego. So anything that in relationship, because we identify with the body, that's where the false ego comes from. Our real ego is, as we say, that we are the eternal servitor of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. That's the real ego. Then actually one has to remain steady in happiness and distress as well. So in a happiness, it may be, it's not that hard to remain stable. One can remain stable in happiness, but in distress, it particularly becomes very hard, because when you're going to tough situation, because I personally experienced this, that actually, because Amrish always told us that when we are in difficulty, we should remember Krishna more. We have to intensify our devotional service. But actually, when you are in the situation, I found it very hard because yes, we keep chanting, we keep praying. However, actually, the ability to focus is actually is very difficult, to remain focused or remain actually confident that Krishna will save us in all circumstances. Where actually Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, actually from the Nectar of Instruction, I remember that he said that he was talking about being determined, Nishchay, that one has to have absolute faith that Krishna will protect us in whatever difficulty, any situation. So unless we have this actually faith, strong faith, it's very hard to actually remain steady in a difficult situation, or even some people get very elated when they are in actually happiness as well. So this is another actually, the quality that devotee has to actually achieve. And again, being tolerant and actually always satisfied. So Srila Gurudev always said that, that one has to become satisfied in whatever situation they are in. So I remember this actually Melo, that unless we become satisfied in whatever we have, we always keep hankering. And that will lead to the over endeavoring. So whatever we have, when we're not satisfied, then we put more and more effort. Actually, sometimes we are actually trying very, very hard, but we still don't actually achieve what we want. So one has to see this, and actually one has to actually see the Krishna's hand and remain satisfied. So further in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada says that actually such a devotee, he's happy with whatever comes his way, with the Lord's mercy. He do not complain. And self-control. So yeah, this is very important. We discussed this for many, many, many times. Actually controlling our senses and mind, and how to actually control them, because we try to engage in actually devotional services. So Srila Prabhupada always instructed that is artificially you cannot do this, but you can engage in Krishna's service, and that process will actually purify the senses. And once they purify, then you can able to render the devotional service. And the determination is very, very important, because I explain this personally because the determination to have at the same level, constant level, or maybe it shouldn't remain constant, it should actually improve over the time. But sometimes actually our enthusiasm, it fluctuates with the situation. Again, same, whatever we're going through. So our determination is also same. Sometimes we're strong, we feel very actually encouraged, happy, and sometimes we lose actually, interest as well. So actually, Srila Prabhupada actually, always actually instructed his devotees, that whatever happens, one has to keep chanting. Minimum, they have to keep chanting. Even they cannot focus, they have to keep chanting because they will eventually come out of the situation. So this actually the ability to remain actually steady in distress and happiness is very hard. So all these qualities, when actually one can actually able to achieve these qualities, then that person can actually able to focus his mind and intelligence. He can fix on actually these things on Krishna. And Krishna says that such a devotee is very dear to him. So this is a formula given here, how one can become dear to Krishna. Even further in the actually verses, actually the further qualities are actually described. But just actually meditating on these actually qualities, that how to get there. So how to go about this? I remembered actually Srila Prabhupada actually instruction when I was listening to, I think I was reading his book and where he mentioned that all the good qualities that we see in a devotee or even demigods. So Srila Prabhupada says that they automatically manifest in a devotee. Now one who is engaged in a devotional service. So this is a key to remain engaged in a devotional service. So even actually, we also started in the same way. So we have been asked to just start chanting, not to change anything initially. Just keep chanting, just Hare Krishna. And when we did that, and when we start chanting, then all the anarthas, slowly they actually they go away. Actually. So the very basic thing of a regulative principle for regulative principle, to actually no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, low illicit sex, and all that. Initially, very hard to actually implement, but just actually chanting, regularly and sincerely. Well, sincerity is not there initially, but you still actually mechanically, at least you're chanting. So all these inner anarthas can go away. So this is a realization I have personally experienced. So if you remain actually steady, following this regulative principle, and if we actually engage ourselves in the various services like preaching daily, actually reading the scripture, uh, giving our realization, and most importantly, actually implementing this instruction in our life, maybe one at a time. So this consistency will actually help us achieve this actually quality eventually. Even for me, it sounds very distant, almost impossible to get to the stage. But when I reflect back, if actually all these small things we can achieve just with the chanting, then if you put more and more effort in this actually in this process and instructions of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, scriptural injunctions, all these things, if we implement practically, then we can able to get to this actually qualities slowly and steadily. So it's again depend, how actually the level of let's say sincerity, level of hard work that one actually put in. So all that will actually benefit. More we do, more we get benefited. So that is actually what I realized. So I was thinking, yes, all these good qualities are mentioned. So what is in it for me? To get there is the most important thing because this is actually the instruction for everyone. So it is for me as well. So I was actually thinking on this line. So that is what I actually realized. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Thank you very much, Sopan Prabhu and Shitla Prabhu, for your very nice realizations, and for talking about how we can try and implement this verse in our lives, which is almost impossible from my view. So I'll just say the verse, sing the verse. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna eva cha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadhuka sukhakshami santushtaha satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchayaha mayarpita mano buddhir yomadbhaktaha same priyaha. Translation: Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from a false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So this Lord Krishna here is basically giving us, the blueprint for pure devotional service and how to become dear to Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada very nicely elaborates in the purport according to our circumstances, and our time and our place. But just reading through, when I was reading the purport and trying to meditate on the purport, I was realizing that actually all these qualities of a devotee situated in pure devotional service, I'm actually so far away from all these qualities. And in fact, for example, the quality that really stood out to me was a devotee that they're satisfied with whatever comes their way. So they do not over endeavor. They do not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty, so they're always joyful. This point was very struck me very hard because endeavoring. How is it possible to not try and endeavor much if you want to achieve something material? Obviously, achieving your spiritual progress, we're over endeavoring. We're trying to over endeavor every day. But from a material standpoint, if there's something that you have ambitions towards, how can you not endeavor much and be attached to the result? It's so hard, and almost impossible, from where I am. And every point here the Srila Prabhupada is saying is almost like a slap in the face that this is where I have to get to slowly but surely. And Srila Prabhu nicely mentioned that by chanting the Maha Mantra, which is so potent, we can begin these baby steps towards reaching these qualities in some capacity. And as far as we are concentrating on the Maha Mantra, when we chant the Maha Mantra, then we can actually see and perhaps experience these qualities, with sincere chanting of the holy name and sincere devotion service. But so many points here, all the qualities that Srila Prabhupada has written and elaborated on, again, are very, very, it's such a high level, and even, for example, a devotee not attaching importance to pains and trouble of the body. I mean, it's so hard, any minor inconvenience that we have with our body. If something, for example, if we cannot, if something is hurting us and we cannot do certain actions, say even one finger on your hand, if that gets injured, you can't move around, and this it's so inconvenient, But a devotee is not does not attach importance to it because they know that they're not the material body. I mean, this is very easy for me to say these things, and if someone were to ask, it would be a very easy answer to give, but to actually implement is very, very hard. You know, obviously we understand the importance of tolerance as well. You know, being tolerant not just to on ourselves but towards other people. You know, and Srila Prabhupada even says that pure devotee is not disturbed in any circumstance. You know, they do not make people their enemies, do not make enemies of enemies, etc., etc. In fact, we say that all the trials and tribulations we are suffering are due to our karma, and we could be suffering more. But Lord Krishna is being very merciful to us, which is why we're not getting all the punishment that we should be getting. Is again, like how do we reach that stage? How do I reach that stage of thinking? You know, any minor inconvenience, any trouble, any issue is like expanded and extrapolated, you know, and exaggerated so hard, you know, as the devotees have mentioned previously, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, and Subhan Prabhupada was also mentioning. So this verse is a big slap in the face to me, you know, these two verses, but also a very, 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 very important, and I'm very grateful that Srila Prabhupada elaborated so nicely in the purport, because it actually feels like it's a blueprint for you know, or like a check, not a checklist, but actually a blueprint for what you know, what level I should attempt to get to, you know, what I should check myself on, and you know, with that in mind, maybe some baby steps can be achieved, but you know, it seems very, very far away. But yeah, especially this point about not endeavoring much to achieve something with great difficulty is something that I have to meditate on, you know, for a long time. It's a very, very powerful and poignant point as well. So that's some of my realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much to all of you for your very nice realizations. And this verse, like so many other verses, they're very important. It describes an ideal human being, a pure devotee of Krishna. Prabhupada writes, coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendental qualification of a pure devotee in these two verses. So this is basically what a purpose of human existence is. And a person who is engaged in their business to follow the purpose of one's life, the purpose of his existence, this is his description. Now, I would not dwell on the points where all of you have covered, very nicely. The qualities, how much we are missing, etc. I am more intrigued with the point of, if we see this in somebody, will we be able to identify these qualities? I'm always intrigued by these points, the opposite point. How do we identify somebody, say here, is a one who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me, Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Now, how would you know if somebody is tolerant? When if you do something wrong, doing a small thing, the person comes and chastises you. You think this person is in not control of his senses. Because I just did only so much wrong, but I got so much big chastisement. How do you identify this person? Who's satisfied? Always satisfied? How do you know somebody is satisfied? Because they're also endeavoring. Self-controlled. They may also criticize other people. How do you know? I do not have experience with Prabhupada, but if you listen to Prabhupada's room conversations or walking, etc., Prabhupada has said rascal to so many people, so many times, all the time. Maximum time. And Prabhupada chastised scientists, materialists, karmis, everybody. Everyone Prabhupada criticized. How can you fit in here? So how do you know somebody is chastising you? You may think you're doing something very minimal, but chastisement came to you. How do you know that person is doing it out of lack of sense control or his senses are under control? I believe that there is a lot going on in our own understanding, and that our own understanding comes from our sincerity. Our sincerity comes from our experiences and what we want to achieve. It boils down to us. What do we want to achieve? If we want to achieve pure devotional service, means constant remembrance of Krishna, then we'll work towards that. Krishna will give us an intelligence to act on it. So I would like to invest all my time in trying to identify this. How do you identify these qualities? And as far as we are concerned, we lack these qualities. It's such a shame, that I lack these qualities. Because I'm reading Prabhupada's books, I'm listening to Guru Maharaj's instructions, and I lack these qualities. But I can tell you one thing. If you are very sincere, if you study scriptures also, and very, very sincere towards your goal, then that sincerity and that honesty which you are showing to yourself and to Krishna, that sincerity and honesty will really protect us in our endeavors. And I've always noticed that because we fail to identify these qualities in people when they are alive or they are with us, when they leave us or we leave them, those who are left behind, then they realize that this person was like this. So nice. But when they were in front of us, we completely neglect them. Because we have not identified these qualities at all, because we have got our own notions of some self-control, some self-satisfied, some fully engaged in devotional service, some definition of free of false ego, and some points of being equal in both happiness and distress, some tolerant. Our own definitions we have got. And I can tell you, moment you are repenting when that person leaves us, oh, I did not see this. This is how much we are away from these qualities. So this is how the onus is upon us to identify these things. Thinking that yes, I don't have these qualities are so bad. These are very good points. But we should come out of that point and start to observe things very intelligently. Krishna ra bhaje sevara chatur, Prabhupada says this. Become this chatur, very intelligent. Nobody can trap this person. Trapless. And then Krishna is in control of your life. Because the whole discipline succession is in control of your life. Because they value your life. Because everybody wants you to go back to him, Krishna. That is why Srila Prabhupada dedicated his whole life. Otherwise, in Vrindavan, no need for him to leave Vrindavan. Maharshi Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev, there was no need for him to leave his family to accept sannyas. So it is very important to understand how intelligently we are following what we have been told. Because there are decisions we have to take. That's why we say the devotional service is decision making at every point. This discussion that we are doing in Bhagavad Gita, which angle we take is our decision to understand. Accept or reject. How to accept, how to reject. Should I accept this? Is it a good decision or bad decision? How much time to invest in these things? So this is very, very important. As time progresses, this is where the future generations will have to be given the skills from now onwards so they can take correct and informed decisions. All these qualities will come as we become very sincere towards our purpose of performing only and only pure devotional service. No mission of bhakti. We are only interested in pure devotional service. Anyone who follows Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, anyone who follows Srila Prabhupada, only pure devotional service is interested. And practically at what level we are in, we adjust and we keep moving. You're not stagnant. Okay. Well, I thought this is the point which I just thought some angles to my point of view. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to say anything or any questions or realizations, please feel free. Hare Bol.